Hey guys, so I will be reading chapter 2 and chapter 3 from my story this week, since I didn't get to put up chapter 2 last week because I was studying for my ASL quiz. So you will get 2 chapters today in this video. I should have chapter 4 done by next Sunday, it all depends. But anyway, on to chapter 2. Chapter 2. Once the gypsy was down from the nets, Heather went to check her. The captain has arrived. Benjamin, go help him, Treasure said. Yes, Treasure, Benjamin said. McGee, lock these 2 in the cellar, Treasure said, pushing Heather and the gypsy towards McGee. Once Heather and the gypsy were down in the cellar, McGee locked the door. There has to be a way out of here, Heather said, looking around. She smiled when she saw the anchor. If they couldn't get the anchor up, then they couldn't move, which means that her brothers could catch up to them. This is going to be loud, so you might want to plug your ears, Heather said, grabbing a bar. Once the gypsy covered her ears, Heather hit the anchor as hard as she could. Because of the loud bang, McGee came to see what had happened. Heather and the gypsy ran past him. Once the girls were back on deck, Benjamin and Jose caught them before they could run overboard. Captain, McGee said, running back on deck. What is it, McGee? Sebastian said. They broke the anchor, so now we can't raise it, McGee said. Heather smiled. Now there was plenty of time for her brothers to catch up to them. You are useless, McGee. You are no longer first mate. I hope you can swim, Sebastian said. The boys went to throw McGee overboard. Wait, McGee is the only one who knows how to make the good rum. But I agree that we need to find a new first mate with a competition, Treasure said. After the competition, it turns out that Saxton would be the new first mate. When the competition was over, Benjamin came over to Heather. He handed her a knife, just in case, Benjamin said, kissing Heather's hand before walking away. Heather felt herself blush. She turned around to see Treasure was standing behind her. She quickly hid the knife. All right, to celebrate Saxton being first mate, we will have the gypsy dance, Treasure said. Heather didn't like this, but she just had to wait and see what would happen. Heather couldn't watch Sebastian be mean to the gypsy. She grabbed the knife from her shoe and charged at Sebastian, but he pushed her down. Now you've done it, you stupid girl. Throw her overboard, Sebastian said. Wait. I invoke the pirate's law, Benjamin said, standing in front of Heather. McGee, what is he talking about? Sebastian asked. The pirate's law says that any pirate can save a condemned prisoner by asking for their hand in marriage, McGee said. What? Everyone said. Heather turned to look at Benjamin down on one knee. And I do, Benjamin said. The gypsy couldn't help but clap. Heather smiled. The gypsy was always her best friend back at the castle. Fine, take her and get out of my sight, Sebastian said. Benjamin got up and pulled Heather away from everyone else. Why did you do that? She asked. Isn't it obvious? He said. Heather was still confused. Benjamin smiled before kissing Heather on the lips. Once he broke away, he pulled a brown bracelet from his pocket. As long as you have this on, I will always find you, Benjamin said. Heather smiled as she held out her hand for him to put the bracelet on. Once the bracelet was on, he kissed her hand before saying, We need to find Jose and the gypsy. Chapter 3. Once they found Jose and the gypsy, Benjamin went to talk to Jose, and the gypsy ran over to Heather. Are you okay? Heather asked. The gypsy smiled and nodded. Heather smiled and hugged her. Benjamin and Jose came over. We need to get out of here, Jose said, grabbing the gypsy's hand, and Benjamin grabbed Heather's hand. And where do you think you're going? Sebastian said as he and Treasure walked onto the deck. A fight broke out, and Heather and the gypsy were shoved back into the cellar. Heather turned to see the gypsy shaking. Hey, it's okay. Jose and Benjamin are going to get us out of here. We just have to wait, Heather said, hugging the gypsy. Treasure came and dragged them out of the cellar. Well, Princess, we have the serpent's eye and you. Where is your hero now? Treasure said. Right here, Benjamin said, swinging onto deck. As another fight broke out, Heather grabbed the serpent's eye and the gypsy. She could see one of her brother's ships not that far off. We have to jump, okay? She said to the gypsy. The gypsy nodded before jumping into the ocean and swimming towards the ship. Heather looked back at Benjamin. I'm sorry, she said before jumping. Once she made it to the ship, Brett and Bryce pulled her up. Are you okay? Brett asked, handing her a blanket that Bryce wrapped around her. Yeah, I'm fine, Heather said, touching the bracelet that Benjamin gave her. Heather just hoped that what Benjamin said about always finding her was true. 2019. Heather walked into the kitchen, rubbing her bracelet. She couldn't remember how she got it. All she knew was that she never wanted to take it off. Good morning, she said to her brothers. Good morning, Bryce said. You're working third shift at the hotel tonight, right? Brett asked. Yeah, why? She asked, grabbing a waffle. So you can drop the car off at the show before your shift starts, Brett said. Why can't you just take the car and I'll drop Heather off? Bryce said. Heather just stared at Brett. Did you finally ask Luke out? Heather asked. Good job, big brother, Bryce said. I love how supportive you both are, but no. Luke is driving me to work, but I will need a way to get back home. Brett said. Fine. What time do you want me to drop the car off? She asked. Our show ends at 9:30. I can drop you off at the hotel after, Brett said. Okay, great, Heather said. Just then they heard a car horn. That must be your night, Bryce said. Pirate. Behave, you two, Brett said before leaving. Heather sat across from Bryce. So how's your love life? Bryce asked. Oh, you mean my love life with books on pirates? You mean my love life with books on pirates. What is going on with you and Julie? She asked. There is nothing going on with Julie. I will see you tomorrow, Bryce said, getting up. Wait, Heather said, holding out her pinky. They did that every time one of them left. Brett said it was a weird twin thing. Neither of them really cared. Bryce smiled as he hooked his pinky with hers. Heather smiled as she walked backstage of Pirates Dinner Adventure. Hey, Heather, Luke said. Hey, Luke, I'm surprised that you're here. I thought Brett was doing the 7:30 show, she asked. He did, but we always say just in case. We got a new blue pirate for my showtimes, Luke said. That's good. Now Jason doesn't have to do both showtimes now, Heather said with a smile. Speaking of him, hey, Mike, good first show, Luke said as Mike came towards them. Hi, I'm Heather, she said, holding out her hand for him to shake. Mike, he said, shaking her hand. When their hands touched, Heather saw a different version of Mike standing next to him, and when she turned her head, she saw another version of herself. She quickly dropped Mike's hand. Did you see that? Mike said. I have to go, Heather said, taking off. So that was the end of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. I should have Chapter 4 done by this weekend, and you will get a video on Sunday, hopefully on my new computer. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a good week, guys.